Having spent the past 20 minutes eating his way through a stack of small watercress, cucumber, and chicken sandwiches, he leaned forward now to conduct a perusal of the dessert tray. A lock of his dark, wavy brown hair fell across his handsome forehead as he selected a pair of lime tarts and a thin slice of rum cake. As he transferred the sweets to his plate, he got a smudge of whipped cream on one of his knuckles. Eliza's stomach tightened as she watched him lick it away. She forced her gaze down to her shoes. Kit was Violet's brother-in-law and nothing more, she reminded herself. Certainly he was nothing more to her. True, she had once nursed a secret infatuation for him, but such silliness was long since over and done. During the nearly year and a half he had been away travelling on the continent, she had ruthlessly purged him from her heart. And by the time he returned to England this Christmas past, she had long since grown used to giving him scarcely a thought. Still, that didn't mean she couldn't admire him for the gorgeous male specimen he was. And Kit Winter, with his beautiful, lazy-lidded green and gold eyes, sensuous lips, and infectiously charming smile, was a gorgeous man indeed. One with an infamously prodigious appetite that seemed to make no impact at all upon his trim, well-muscled physique. He bit into one of the tarts from his plate, a tiny smile of gustatory delight on his lips as he settled back into his chair. Engrossed in the confection, he seemed utterly oblivious to the volley of disappointment he had just lobbed into the room. Violet shot him a mighty frown. "What do you mean by that remark, Kit?" He swallowed and glanced upward. He took a drink of tea, then politely patted his mouth with his napkin. "Oh, about Newcombe, do you mean?" "Yes, of course, about Newcombe. Of whom else have Eliza and I been conversing?" "Well, there's no need to come up cross, Vi. Just thought I ought to give you fair warning the chap is close to being dipped. Last I heard, he lost 20,000 quid to Plimpton, playing high-stakes whist, and his luck hasn't turned for the good since." Violet and Eliza released a pair of mutual sighs. "If that's the case, then he's out," Violet declared, turning her bespectacled blue-green gaze upon Eliza. "You certainly don't want to take an inveterate gambler to husband." Eliza silently agreed and contented herself by sipping her tea. "There is Sir Silas Jones," Violet continued. "He sent you that sweet nosegay of hothouse roses last week. I hear he comes from a lovely part of Kent. Owns an estate that produces a most bountiful harvest of cherries and apples each year. Has quite the way with plants, I'm given to understand." "That's not all he's good at planting," murmured Kit as he polished off the last of the sweets on his plate and leaned forward for more. Violet angled her attractively coiffured blonde head. "I suppose by that you mean there is something wrong with him as well?" "Depends on your point of view. Some might say there's nothing wrong with him at all." He ate a guinea-sized crumpet topped with a generous spoonful of gooseberry jam, then silently held out his empty Meissen cup for more tea. Without pause, Violet lifted the heavy silver teapot from a matching silver tray and poured. A delicate tendril of steam spiraled off the surface of the beverage for a moment before Kit brought the cup to his lips. "So?" Violet encouraged when he failed to say more. Kit set his teacup onto its saucer with a faint clink. "Man's a womanizer. Has 6 byblows by 4 different women, and those are only the ones he acknowledges. One might say Jones is a man who likes to plough a field." Eliza felt her cheeks grow pink. A small guffaw escaped the Duchess before Violet recovered herself. "Kit," Violet said in reproof, "might I remind you there are ladies present, myself included. That's no kind of talk for the drawing-room." He forced an irreverent grin from his